I think back, to my son when I pick him up from school, and I talk to him, and he gives me I think every parent has had this experience at some point. You're talking to them. Oh, first question: what did you do at school today? And you get the inevitable answer, which is nothing. It makes me think that might be how he's actually processing the day. Like when he reflects back on it, he imagines that nothing happened.
Our current educational model, the traditional model, is one that was designed 150 years ago when what society needed basically was compliant workers. And so our traditional education model encourages students to get the right answer and to be compliant to the teacher and to memorize and understand in a kind of a limited way a particular body of content. 15 years from now, when a kid is in some job that doesn't even have a name yet because it hasn't been invented yet, when they encounter a problem that they haven't seen before, they need to know what to be able to do with that. And what we want them to be able to do is to assess the problem, to figure out how to ask somebody for help, to figure out how to break it down, to think about how it relates to other problems they've encountered. They need to learn how to learn. And in our traditional educational model, teachers artificially construct everything, right? We have the chapter and we have a list of terms that you need to know, and it's all really safe and it's contained, and a student can raise their hand and say, is this going to be on the test? But in life, no one can tell you whether or not it's going to be on the test. You have to problem solve and figure it out in the moment.
There's this idea in education of the taught curriculum and the learned curriculum that if I say it, then the kids know it, and that's mythical. That's not how it works. If you say to a kid, all right, well, you got an A- on that, a lot of them will say, oh, great, and then stop. Whereas if you give them feedback, that is to say, all right, this part was really strong, but this part needs work. They don't have that moment of being able to sit back and just be satisfied that, all right, I'm done, if they're not quite done.
Think about whether you would be better at your job if every few hours your boss walked by and gave you a grade on how you've done on your most recent report or your presentation or your email or whatever it was. And think about all the things that would change about your behavior. There's a lot of research at this point that shows that extrinsic motivation, rewards and punishments, those things that we think work really well to help people learn, only work for a very limited set of tasks. That are really routine and really boring. As soon as we get to a task that's more complicated, that requires synthesis or creativity or problem solving or any of the things we ask kids to do all the time, then that extrinsic motivation actually gets in the way of trying to come up with a creative solution because you're busy trying to think about how to get it right.
Stephen Hawking, right before he died, mentioned that human beings are going to struggle on Earth with the limited resources that we have. And he challenged us to get to another planet that we could inhabit within the next 100 years. How do we do that? And what do we need to know? I think when you start with that, it's an entirely different experience.